Well, it all comes down to this. For the second time today, Alliance and Fnatic go the distance in a best of three. First time around, Alliance ended up winning 2-1. In this revenge run back, though, Fnatic wants to at least split the series. And I'll tell you what, Fnatic looked phenomenal in game number 2. They picked a very mid-game centric lineup, and you know what? It featured two of the heroes we currently see drafted, Clockwork and Pugna. And according to Nahaz Dota, our fantastic stat man, want to shout him out one more time. He just does such a good job, and I know it makes the experience so much more enjoyable for the viewers. Pointed out that that was the second highest number of kills totaled by a Pugna in competitive play in 6.79. He ended up going 13-1 or 13-2, something like that. Just really excellent play. Trixie on the Clockwork, a huge part of that success as well. This time, though, they're going to be matching up against Admiral Bulldog on the Bounty Hunter and an early Venomancer pick. We'll find out which team is up to the test here in Game 3 of this best of 3 at the HyperX D2L. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers, joined as always by Ben Merlini Wu. And, you know, Alliance, in fairness, did manage to extend that game much longer than I think most would have expected it to go. But in the end, Fnatic's coordination and some mistakes. And let's be honest, they did make some mistakes coming down the stretch. A lot of pickoffs that didn't need to happen, simply not respecting Hani's clinks as the game got later and later, ended up costing Alliance any chances we got closer to 40 minutes.
Certainly did. I'm surprised that they didn't ban out Pugna or Clockwork, though. I'm just those two heroes were just so problematic. Clockwork pretty much all game, Pugna mostly in the laning phase, but it also forced Alliance to react to their constant towers just being pushed constantly by Pugna. And the early Decrep, too. Defensive Decrep saved like 2 heroes early, and that's what really started the snowball rolling for Fnatic.
Yeah, I agree. The way that bottom lane ended up panning out, it was a try on duo lane that should have favored Alliance immensely, and they just really didn't get a lot out of it. And you can say things started to go a little sideways right about the time Loda tried to dive for First Blood and ended up feeding First Blood himself. And since then, I mean, again, they just got way too much out of it. An Earthshaker and a Pugna should not have been able to stand up to the level of aggression that Alliance's tri-lane should have been able to pour out. And Loda took so long to catch up after that he just really wasn't a factor until late. He did get his Desolator up, and he was doing okay-ish damage, but by that point, the items were simply too big on Fnatic, their advantage too wide, and Alliance unable to play their way back in. We could see the second ban phase on the way. Elder Titan, no surprise to see him being banned. It is kind of a surprise to see how much he has slipped. I mean, this is our second series, and how many times have we seen, I want to say in just about every game now, Elder Titan has been neither picked nor banned in the first phase.
Yeah, I'm very surprised too, just because he kind of works well with everything. He's a good offlaner. He works well with physical damage, magical damage. He's decent anti-push, somewhat decent at push too, good for team fight. Just a very good all-around hero that is a flexible pickup.
Very much agreed. And Fnatic going to go ahead and grab up a Windrunner. This is going to be another aggressive style lineup coming out from them. And Alliance with the Bounty Hunter, though, they might be up for that. I mean, the way you do beat a Bounty Hunter, there are one of a multitude of ways to beat him, is to not only keep him down in levels and farm, of course, that works on anyone, but if you can put together a strong team fight 5-man team very early on and just make sure that the Bounty, even if he is getting tracks off, isn't able to really hang around in the fights. I mean, Bounty just doesn't bring a whole lot very early until he begins to build items, and of course it's up to him what he contributes after that. But, you know, Bulldog's Bounty is very good, and if he's able to get a quick 6, Alliance is very comfortable running any lineup that has him roaming from a very early moment.
Pretty early Windrunner pick from Fnatic. I doubt we'll see a Clinks picks again because Alliance already has the Bounty Hunter. Looks like they're going for, I don't know, just flexible strats. It's still open. Probably heavy aggression, again, though, from Alliance, similar to Game 1. And Gyrocopter... yeah, Loda hero, no Weaver for them this time, though.
Yeah, Gyro is going to be able to contribute a lot more early on, and I think maybe that's what they've got in mind. I mean, you see the Clockwork and the Pugna pick up. You know, Fnatic obviously can build this a little bit differently than they did in Game 2 if they want. But the big problem Alliance had was Loda just couldn't do much. He was able to split push down a tower or two. Him and Bulldog, especially Bulldog's Nature's Prophet, certainly kept them in it with the split push from time to time. But with the Gyrocopter, they have a comparable hero, one that does well early, then falls off and has to kind of build in relevancy into the late game by staying on par with items. But he can come to fights very early, and just having the call down to meet up with the team fight potential of Pugna and the Clockwork give you is going to be to their advantage. And you know, it's one of those situations where Alliance can kind of look at Game 2 and go, okay, let's imagine that we played a lineup like that, except we were getting track kills and breaking even, and we had a gyrocopter's extra little bit of magic damage in the first 20 minutes to help us out.
It's not that Weaver can't do that much. He can't do that much versus a Pugna, because if you Shikuchi and try and chase him down, he just blasts on top of himself, and you take way more damage than you dish out. And he has Decrep for the Geminate procs, and Swarm does, I believe, physical damage too, so it won't hit that. And Gyrocopter just he's much better at comeback potential too. Like, they had a very bad start early game. Loda had maybe 10-minute treads and Magic Stick. And Gyrocopter, he can do ancient stacks. He can farm up very, very fast. He's also much better of a team fighter than Weaver. So Weaver, I don't want to say he's like Snowbally. He's just like the way that Alliance play is just not suited well versus the Pugna, because they like to keep up early aggression and keep up their lead. And if not, then farm it up. And Gyrocopter is good at both of those too. Much better than Weaver against Fnatic's playstyle.
This is very much a playstyle counterpick lineup out of Alliance, I do believe. I mean, you see again a Clockwork and a Pugna. You don't pick those heroes so you can sit back and farm all game. You pick those so you can at most create space for someone who's going to farm all game. But with the Magnus, the Gyrocopter, and Bounty, that 3 core right there, that's a lineup that wants to get in Fnatic's face very, very quickly and is going to welcome the chance to 5-man off of that. Of course, Clockwork does well against a Magnus, able to put his Blink on cooldown. With his Rocket Flare, if he's able to spot the Magnus out. Of course, being able to hook the Magnus creates a whole nother set of problems. Anything that can close distance causes problems for Gyrocopter, so they have that as well. But I like Alliance's balance right now. They have good initiation. They have good counter-initiation, one and the same, really. Bounty Hunter is going to give them vision and the ability to try and split the map up. Venomancer is going to make it a little harder for Fnatic to push into them the way that we saw in Game 1. But Fnatic, I mean, you can't underestimate what they can do. Fnatic's very much a team who knows their capabilities and knows their limits and tends to draft within themselves. And with the Naga Siren pickup there, they have a lot of stability as well.
Their core with Clockwork and Pugna is just really strong. They can just sweep a lot of towers early, and if Alliance wants to defend, they're going to have to deal with Clockwork. Clockwork, I think, still should have been banned out, though. He's pretty decent versus Magnus, because Magnus is usually forced to skewer away as soon as he gets caught out, and you can't rely on RP at all after that. Even if he does RP, he can still hookshot him, so he can't scooter back or cog the rest of his teammates out. It's just a very problematic hero for a heavy initiator like Magnus. And they have the Song of Siren too, so even if you manage to check out Clockwork, you have to deal with that Song of Siren. It wasn't that effective last game because Clockwork was on the opposite side of Naga Siren and just always went on her and got orchided or sheeped out before she could get a Song of Siren off. But with both of them on the same team, Alliance is going to find a tough time getting a good initiate on Fnatic during team fights.
Well, Fnatic's certainly going to have a lot of punching power in team fights. There is a couple of things that bother me about that last pick, though. Queen of Pain gives them the mobility they want. She can build right-click if she absolutely has to in the late game. In a long time since we really saw that kind of a transition for a Quap, though. But they're going to be under the gun. They are very, very limited in their physical damage output as the game goes later. I mean, the Windrunner, I guess, could build right-click too. But Queen of Pain, Pugna, lots of magic damage. Clockwork, great initiation. Naga Siren, a nice way to get into and out of trouble. Windrunner with Power Shot to add into the magic damage plethora that Fnatic's going to be able to bring to bear. But BKBs are going to hurt them so badly. And they've got 2 heroes that are naturally going to build them, and perhaps a third in the Bounty Hunter. Of course, the front 2 being Gyro and Magnus. Mags tend to build BKBs, especially against the lineup that has heroes like a Clockwork on them who can disjoint their ability to land a good RP. Now, with Ake being picked up the Enchantress, that's some more pure damage they can add to this. They're not super survivable either. Pugna, again, squishy. Windrunner, squishy for the most part. Naga Siren, squishy. Queen of Pain until BKB comes out, squishy. Fnatic has a great lineup, and it fits their playstyle, and it's certainly similar to the lineup we saw have so much dominance in Game 2, but I feel like it's going to be much like Game 2 was in the first few minutes as well. Not a lot of room for mistakes.
I think it's not a lot of room for mistakes either, but I think their late game is much better than you expect, just because they can get mass sheeps like last time, and Scepter on Pugna is just really, really difficult to deal with. Once those BKBs are like 4 or 5 seconds long, you can just wait it out and kite it with the Song of Siren if you want to, just whatever you want to do, and then after that, it just becomes a lot easier to deal with. So Fnatic, they just need to get an early game lead. They need to be maybe 4,000 or 5,000 up, 25-30 minutes in. But if Alliance gets ahead, on the other hand, Fnatic is kind of screwed because they're not a comeback team. So it's really on Fnatic to get a lead early. They need to take towers, and an early first blood down here would do the trick.
Yep, we can see Fnatic moving as a pain train through the Radiant side jungle. And, yeah, I think you really summed it up best. They just can't afford to fall behind. Especially, there's just so much they have to account for. And Bulldog in particular is going to be of special importance. His roaming early on, if he's able to pick off the Pugna, keep him down, and he's got some squishy targets. Even the Queen of Pain in the right circumstances, if they can bait a blink out of Hani and then have Bulldog standing in proper position, that Queen of Pain actually isn't all that hard to kill for the first 20 minutes. It's going to be tight, and couldn't think of a better conclusion to our second best of 3. And they're going to spot out Era. They're going to land a Gale. This is very bad for Fnatic. No Tail's going to be there. He can do nothing but watch as his friend dies in agony, and Loda the one who gets that first blood. That is not the start they wanted.
Yeah, definitely not, especially not on the Pugna.
Yeah. We saw Era's Pugna before. Just an absolute dominant performance in Game 2, but, well, I mean, it's not like oh, he's screwed. Certainly not that. But Alliance, again, we just harped for about the last 5 minutes on why it was so important that Fnatic not fall behind, and lo and behold, 500 gold behind and about 300 experience behind before the horn even sounded.
Yeah, Hani's trying to do well versus S4 too. The pressure is on Quap to keep the Magnus down.
Yep.
And Magnus, I mean, S4 has one of the best Magnuses, probably the best Magnus in the Western scene, actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's one of the few players in the West that has actually hung on to playing the hero. Going back to 6.78, even towards the tail end of that patch, the hero just became very unpopular with a lot of teams. They just didn't want to prioritize him. S4, though, has remained consistently in favor of some mag play when the situation warranted. We'll run through.
I think it's because Icefrog has nerfed the heroes just to the point where only good players can play them effectively and competitive, just like Batrider too. Yep. Only S4 can play Batrider well, but not many other people can, and that's why they can use them. But going back to introducing the lineups.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a minute. As we see, Era's actually taking a bit of damage. There's a power shot. Oh, wow, they actually got the kill with the Enchantress creep. Harpy Stormcrafter. And this little creep right here, I am shocked that we don't, we see it, obviously, in competitive play, but not nearly as much as you would think. Just look how much damage this thing can turn out all on its own. And it's actually a little bit surprisingly survivable in the early phases. Ake making a big difference immediately, a 2-0 lead.
The 900 range is absurd on that spell. It's twice as good as Chain Lightning from Zeus.
Yeah, I was actually having conversations with a number of pro players about this Harpy Stormcrafter in particular, and I was wondering if it was going to get nerfed in 6.79. Do you think it deserves to be nerfed, or is it just situational enough that it remains legit?
It's situational enough that it remains legit. Compare that to something like Tornado. Tornado's super annoying too.
Yep.
And people have called for nerfs on that. But I think some creeps are a little bit underpowered. Like the Hellbear Smasher, I think is a little bit too weak. But all the other ones are pretty useful. Yep. Troll and Centaur are pretty equal in terms of they have a disable. The Satyr Shockwave is actually pretty strong too. And it has an aura, but the Harpy only has the spell, right? It doesn't have an aura to go along. So it's okay in that aspect.
And that's why we have you on, Merlini. Love your insight, my friend. And 2-0, Alliance off to a bit of a lead. We'll try to get through the lineups. Want to keep an eye on this top lane. S4 taking a bit of a beating here in mid. He's on Magnus. The Enchantress, of course, being handled by Ake. Might be getting ready to dive.
Oh, he might die here. Oh, honey. That was really close.
And Ake will go ahead and drop a sentry. Going to deward the medium camp here. Over in the jungle. And moving on through, Gyrocopter, played by Loda. No surprise, EGM will be handling our Vino, and the Bounty Hunter, played by Bulldog, as we knew he would be. They're cutting creeps now, trying to put a lot more pressure on. They might dive. Era and Fnatic are a little bit too close together. They're going to be pursued in. Now that Centaur is going to end up dying, and Loda, using a Rocket Barrage to zone out No-Tail, do some creep damage, got juked there as Loda heads to the south instead. And fairly well avoided there, if I say so myself. Flying Era managing to create a bit of a traffic jam there, and Loda still using Rocket Barrage. Here's a Nether Blast. Miss on Ake. He's going to use Nature's Attendants. Fly has been enchanted. And Windrun not going to get him to safety. EGM's going to eat a Nether Blast in the mouth. Behind that, Hani has TP'd up, so there's a 1-0. Can they get EGM? Nope. Nature's Attendants so strong at this level, Merlini.
This is really bad for Fnatic. They rotated in with Hani. They didn't get a kill, and S4 is farming away in mid. So that was... I don't want to say it was a bad TP, but they just didn't get anything out of it. They were unable to catch anyone. That's one of the problems with Pugna. It's not very good. Hani might actually die here because he doesn't have boots.
And No-Tail's going to be forced to spin an ensnare. And yeah, Aki's not done. He's going to chase him out. Hani doesn't have enough mana for a blink. He will momentarily. Up the top, he's going to be diving out Era. And no tells Olay's S4. Don't think it's going to make a difference. So they get one kill there. Era's not out of the woods yet. He's going to have to go hide. That's a lie. He is in the woods, but, you know, figuratively speaking, he wasn't out of the woods. 4-0, nonetheless. And this is getting silly. Trixie in some trouble to Bulldog. I thought Bulldog was going to try to shuriken him there. Oh, he might get cogged in. They're going to go back and forth. He's got a shuriken. Nope, bottle. We'll keep him safe. Shuriken tossed out a little bit late. Don't know there would have been enough anyway.
Uh-oh, there's a dust on Hani. Looks like Admiral Bulldog's going to take a spill. Oh, yes.
Yep, there's the Shadow Strike, Scream of Pain. Bulldog trying to use darkness to his advantage, trying to bottle in between. He's going to just try to trade, and will he be able to do so? Not quite. Okay, very close.
HP on Trixie.
Yep, very close there.
I think this is how Alliance imagined their first 10 minutes of the game was going to go when they did an aggressive triple lane versus a Pugna. But Gyrocopter is the right hero, though. You defensive decrypt, boom, you just get owned by Rocket Barrage, and they don't really have anything else to do this. Fnatic just trying to run the same thing as Game 2, but not accounting for the Weaver, the Weaver being taken out for Gyrocopter, and they are suffering very heavily as a result. And Magnus still doing very well, actually out-CSing Hani after Hani's forced to rotate. Looks like 6-minute room is supposed to spawn. They need a lot out of Hani this game. I don't think he can play passively and farm up a lot like he did on the Clinks.
I agree with you completely. Bounty is level 6, so he's going to be able to roam. And speaking of level 6, S4's been there for a while. He's actually a full level ahead of Hani at this point. Hani will find a regen rune, and not even level 6 yet, so doesn't even have Sonic Wave. Trixie might take a shot at a hook here. He thought about it, wound up for it, opted against it. Probably for the best, as the Centaur was there to help out if he had been caught.
But are these skeletons weird colors for you?
Yeah, I think it's just the way they look like.
They're like purple now.
They did look funny for a second. Now they look normal.
Mine are purple. Anyways,
Secret Dire Tide ARG. Shh. That's what they're doing. 4-1, 6.5 minutes in. Alliance off to a commanding lead. 4,000 gold.
6 minute 40-second phase and Midas. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, 2-0 tends to do that. 2-0 and with 38 CS. And but yeah, look at the gold, my friend. We're talking 4,500 gold lead, and we're just 7 minutes into this game. This is not where Fnatic wants to be. They're going to have to try to do something to turn this around. Bulldog hasn't even really gotten involved yet. That's what's scary, is the team fight potential of Alliance is going to be through the roof, and Bulldog's going to be in a position where he's going to be able to contribute for the first time. So their success has been totally without him for the most part.
Well, looks like Aki has scouted out Trixie on bottom. Trixie, no dust yet, actually. They need more dust. Oh, they have one on No-Tail, I suppose. And Sentry Wards.
This tier 1, they're going to respond. They need to come now. Mag already has up his Arc Boots, 500 gold towards his Blink, and an RP on the ready. And here comes that push potential of the Veno, as he is maxing the wards this time. Actually went 1-1-1, and his fourth point went into another point and Plague Wards. Level 5 for Era, as he's trying to make up some ground up here in this unattended top lane.
Yeah, he needs levels so badly. Almost level 6, so I guess he's not doing too badly, but he is so poor. Brown boots, ring of protection, and that's about all that he has.
Let's compare that. Compare where he is now at 0-2 to where he finished last time, as we saw in the Has up. Hani.
RP, Hani.
Deadzo, Bulldog there. That was a track kill as well. And this has bad news written all over it. Fnatic under cover of smoke. Let's actually check that, an invis rune on No-Tail. They need to make something happen. Okay, perhaps a target, but this mid tower in some trouble. Elsewise, Loda free farming away with his Midas that came out at 6.5 minutes, even after phase.
It looks like Aki's just creeping along with his Welkin. I wonder if he's going to get Midas. He already has treads up and a smoke. No-Tail just sitting middle, but not doing anything. He needs level 6 ASAP. Level 3.5, 8 minutes in. That is very bad. That is very reminiscent of the very first game that we saw where Fnatic used Naga Siren.
Trixie going to find himself a hook. That's going to be an AK plus the Wildkin. Nature's Attendance makes this more chancy than Trixie would like. Here comes help. There's the track and the Gale. And yeah, sometimes you just got to pick your targets, and picking a Enchantress at this stage of the game, chancy at best. They're going to respond with 4. Hani's there. Gets off the Scream of Pain. Here comes a TP. Sonic Wave will be enough to clean up the Enchantress. Here's a call down, though. EGM. will be able to survive, and they're going to reinitiate. No tail in trouble. There's a shackle. Didn't see if it latched because they're pursuing out Hani and company for the moment. There's Rocket Barrage and a track at the last minute. Bulldog racking up track kills like it's his job, like he gets paid for it. He kind of does. 8-2 as we approach 10 minutes, and look at the gold arcing further and further upwards. Almost 7,500 gold advantage generated so far.
And Magnus is well on his way to a Blink Dagger too, so 500 more gold for him. Gyrocopter pick just really, really nice from Alliance, and Loda's just doing so much. And even if you get early bites, you can still fight a lot, and Loda knows that. His skill set doesn't actually scale that well with items except for Flat Cannon. But early game, you just rely on Rocket Barrage and Cooldown, and he is using that to great effect. 61 last hits, 12 denies, 3-0-1 on Loda. He is going to be out of control.
Taking a look at the pure net worth, we could see he already is. He is doubling the highest net worth on the other side of the river. That's the Queen of Pain, who is being crushed by Magnus as well. Mag is almost 2 full thousand gold ahead, and Loda is 3,000 gold ahead. And I mean, we're talking one mid-game item already ahead for Alliance on those heroes. This is getting nuts. Bulldog's right there as well. Even Bulldog, who did nothing but sit bottom lane and was involved in very little early on, is sitting at 4,000 net worth. They're going to move under cover of smoke. Bulldog plus Ake. And these two make a very solid roaming ganking tandem. Oh, this is bad news for Trixie. Of course, a little bit defensible with his cogs, but this could get ugly very quickly. Bulldog spots him out. There you go. Janata track out. Here comes the Centaur. He's going to use the battery assault, try to bang his way out, but Bulldog right there with him. Ake there to help finish it up. Another track kill going the way of... Hang on. There it is. Another track kill going the way of Alliance. And in the meantime, Loda not sitting on his laurels, split pushing bottom lane.
Yes. Fnatic just... I don't know why they're trying to fight right now. I think they need level 6 just because... like Bounty Hunter's level 6 and he's just done so much more than Trixie. Like Nagasaur's like kind of useful early, but 11 minutes in level 4 she can't really do anything. Just stack some camps, get some levels, try and defend towers with Fly and Pugna, and then try and get some kills with Quap and Clockwork. They are just running around the map kind of with their heads cut off. Like No Tail got an infantry I think at like the 8-minute mark, and he's just been sitting around around this area of the map just trying to do something, but like what at best what he's going to do.
Fly RP'd, Galed as he was skewered back. They might be able to get him. Nope, never mind. EGM going to be ensnared. Good TP reactions coming out of Fnatic, trying to get a return kill. There's the urn. They will be able to kill Fly. However, Trixie engages on the S4. EGM next on the list. Shockwave goes off, does a bit of damage, but all in all, the first big exchange to go Fnatic's way all game long. They end up trading.
Very low probability kill going on the Wonder, and she's not even a high priority target.
Yep.
Just bad decision making by Alliance. They needed at least one more hero, and then if they pick her off, then they could just back off during the TPs.
If nothing else, though, this has freed up this bottom lane for Loda. And, you know, that's one of those things that's hard to know unless you're listening to them call the shots themselves. I mean, just doing something like that, even if it involves a 2-for-1 trade, which on its face isn't that good, just the guarantee that you're going to draw 2 or 3 heroes from elsewhere on the map when you have your carry split pushing, that can oftentimes be worth it. And Snare on the Bulldog will be dodged. He will be dusted. Big reactions coming in, and that's going to force them back. There's a Gale that missed No Tail just a smidgen. Loda's there as well. He might try to rush this down. Shockwave melting down these creeps, and it looks like Alliance has had enough of this tier 1 mid. They're going to try to take it down right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they wanted to bait a TP, though, they don't have to blow RP and skewer. You just blink RP. If they TP out, then just get out, and you can save skewer to get away. But S4 dying in the process is not a good trade for them. They could have, if they wanted to bait, they can just they can bait without any deaths. But now that they're taking out the mid T1, Fnatic is very, very just confined to their side of the map. They don't really have any map control. Trixie 1, 2, and 2 completely different than last game, but it's mainly just because top lane just completely fell apart for Fnatic.
Yep. Top lane just collapsed completely. And, you know, coming back to something you pointed out, Hani's rotation up there, the way to put it is the decision was sound, the execution was not. You're going to send your mid Queen of Pain, who's up against a Magnus, away from lane. You need to make sure there's high value attached to it. And because nothing happened, nothing traded away, S4 is now sitting on a Blink Dagger, Arcane Boots, and 800 gold if he wants to get a BKB, which I would imagine he will be looking for against this lineup. He's in great shape. And having him in that matchup, which should have been a domination fest by Hani, go the way of Alliance, is just one more +1 to give them in terms of the way they played out this early game. I mean, we're still just 14 minutes in, but BKB is almost done on Loda. In fact, it's done now. BKB is already done. He has a Morbid Mask, his phase, and the Midas. Loda is going berserk. His GPM is at 615 at just 14 and a half minutes, Merlini.
That is just super scary. He has 1100 HP too. He is like super tanky at this point. He does a hell of a lot of damage with his spells, and No Tail just hit level 6, so things are starting to fall in place for Fnatic right now. Gold lead 12,000 for Alliance.
12,000 at 15 minutes. Very close to that coveted and very rare 1,000 gold per minute lead generated mark. We've seen Alliance hit it before, but tell you the truth, it kind of doesn't matter. They could be running at half of that and feel as confident as they do right now because Fnatic just doesn't have a lineup that can play from behind. They don't have a lineup they can just run a 4 protect 1 and farm for a late game, especially not against the gyrocopter. Like, I mean, Bulldog has done his job. His track kills have been a huge difference maker.
He's waiting for a TP on bottom. If Hani pushes this, he's dead. But yeah, Fnatic, this is the worst position they can be in right now because they can't 5-man because Gyro would just absolutely decimate them with the BKB. They can't out-farm them because Gyrocopter will out-farm them, and he has a Midas, and he's taking out Ancient stacks. And if they want to gank, they always have to run the risk of running into a big RP from S4, and he hits big RPs all the time, and they have to compete with track gold. So Fnatic is kind of at a loss as what to do right now. A lot, maybe if like Alliance picks a bad fight, they can capitalize on it, but they can't really create that many opportunities on their own. It's not like they can sneak a Roshan. It's not like a smoke gank will do that much. Unless they get a really important hero like S4 and then take a tower, that's probably the best move for them right now.
Yep. See, what did S4 pick up? Yep, Ogre Club. We'll be getting that BKB as we expected. And BKBs, I mean, they just completely shut down this lineup for Fnatic. Just completely nullified, just neuter it, just rip the teeth out of it. And Loda, not far from a Helm of the Dominator now. Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? I think we've covered it. Alliance is way ahead and now smoked up and looking to get further ahead. S4 going to be leading the way. There's a smoke popped. And not going to spin the RP. Got to get one skewer. Nice. Well, he does RP, only got one. Fly's going to be blown up immediately. No Tail, not going to be faring any better. And, yep, going to move back in. No sleep at all. Era making a run for it. In the meantime,
he should have slept as soon as he saw them. Like, as soon as Magnus pops, boom, sleep, and then run away. Or TP out. Either one. But they just gave up, I believe, 2 track kills, maybe just one.
I would say, yeah. Look, I'm pretty sure it was maybe 1. I think now that you mention it.
Yeah,
but
10 seconds is pretty long cooldown.
And Lotus Helm of the Dom is now done. He's got 700 gold aside. And I mean, what do you even do? I mean, let's put you in the captain's chair, Merlini, of this unfortunate turn of events. Game 1. Do you have a game plan for Fnatic, or you just sit back, play defensive, and hope for mistakes?
Sit back, play defensive, hope for mistakes. Like, if they give you a free towers like this, then you take it, but you can't really create opportunities for yourself right now. Maybe if, like, Alliance push, you can apply split pressure and then pick them off as they're TPing out, and then maybe, like, Sonic Center initiate on the rest of the few that are there. We'll drop a Pugna Ward, get a Cog in, get a huge Screen of Pain, and Sonic Wave by Hani, and then maybe you can get back into the game. They also need more items on Hani. He's going for Ultimate Orb, but that's thinking way too far ahead. They need items now. They need to be able to take down fights, defend T2s if they can now.
They're trying the trade, and I don't think as well. I'm actually a little surprised. Alliance is actually moving away from this mid-tier 2. They could have possibly traded 2 tier 2s here.
Magnus is coming in. He doesn't have RP up for 25 seconds. If someone else TPs in, though, they can see a skewer.
And just coming into Shockwave and try to hold the line, just delay this. They do take the tier 2 top in the meantime. Fnatic not about to abandon this. Now they're going to rotate back to mid. And here we go. There's a skewer on Era and the sleep. This is what they should have done before. They're all just going to leave. And that
Dale doesn't have a TP, though. He's probably going to get caught out. But they'll get the tower in the process.
And up here, looks like we've got a bit of a fight. Yep, Trixie spotted out by Ake. Should end up dead. This will be another track kill going the way of Alliance. And nope, Ake actually unable to finish up Trixie as he bottle crows in between the auto attacks. Or not bottle crows, but bottle charges between the auto attacks. 2,600 gold aside for Loda. And yeah, this is pretty disturbing. And what can you say? Just utter domination from the very beginning.
They still got, it wasn't that bad of a trade for them. They traded 1 T2 for 1 T2 and 1 track gold, and so it's not that bad. So Naga Siren just needs a TP scroll though. Like, I don't know why Naga Sirens don't have TP scrolls. EGM is very good about it, but some of the other Naga Sirens, they could have easily avoided giving them probably like what, 600 gold there, around that from the kill plus track. And lost opportunity cost in his bank, but level 6 Naga Siren 20 minutes and not exactly what you want from your Naga Siren pick.
No.
And net worth on Loda is just out of control.
Yep.
Almost double Queen of Pains.
Yep. He's been running at basically that rate for a long time. Mag and Bounty both out farming Quap at this point. Quap being the highest farming hero on the entire side of Fnatic, and this seems to be a very dire situation. They're going to run out of map control soon. Roche, of course, will be a next goal coming up. Trixie does pick up his blade mail, so some item progression is taking place on the side of Fnatic. At this point, though, it just feels like Alliance is just biding their time, just farming up a couple more items. BKB will be the choice for the bounties, so that'll be 3 BKB heroes, and Vlad's already up for him as well. That's certainly going to help out the entire team.
Yeah, what do they do versus the BKB rushdown on what, 3 heroes?
Yep.
Like if you just RP pretty much any 2 or any 3, and the gyrocopter will finish them off. It's a 5v3 fight, and you can't stop the BKBs.
Fnatic going to try to hold the line. They're going to drop down the cogs. There's a track out, so they know what's going on. S4 has his Blink Dagger on cooldown, and looking for targets, unable to find it. Blink still ready, and just look how zoned out Fnatic is. They have no hope of defending this tower. And Alliance, after the death of this tier 2, they can rotate the bottom, take that tier 2, then look to take a Roshan. Or just rush the tier 3. Looks like that's going to be the plan. And S4 just going to walk up and eat a tower.
I don't think they should rush to tier 3. It's very dangerous into a Pug 9 o'clock.
Yep. This feels a little ahead of themselves to me as well. Hang on. S4 going to be cogged in, and that's just a nice play. He's going to be skewered back. The mech kept him alive a little longer. Trixie blown up aside. They trade the mag for the clock. There's a Scythe of Ice done on Queen of Pain. So, again, the item progression is still continuing for Fnatic. Are they going to run right for the Roshan here?
Looks like it, but Aki
Ake's going to end up dead. In the meantime, though, they managed to catch Era as well as the Naga Siren trying to chase them out. Fly will be able to scurry home. EGM still alive for the moment. Hani's right across the river, but a little bit of a cute maneuver. Went into the trees, just kind of hung out and said, actually, yeah, that's fine. We do want to fight after all. Loda just finished an MKB, by the way. We're at 22 minutes, and look at his inventory. Midas, BKB, Phase, Helm of the Dominator, and MKB done. Net worth of 15,000, 22 minutes into this game. Absurd.
That is just simply absurd. And if he gets to Aegis right now, sells his magic stick, like, my goodness.
Yep. He's almost level 16
all 5
as well.
In the RP, like, just die in a matter of seconds.
Yep.
Less than a second. It's insane.
Okay, MKB now completing his inventory. He's hitting for about 250 damage, give or take, with each shot. Let's look at that. That's 4 shots on the Hani. That's 4 shots on the Fly. Era can barely survive 3. No Tail, 4 shots. Basically, 4 shots to kill the entire side of Fnatic.
Yep. Well, that's not including MKB proc.
Yep.
And not including armor on their team. Do they have that much armor? Pugna has 11 armor. That's respectable.
That's not too bad.
And Clockwork has his blade mail, so they're doing okay in that department. But trying to make something happen with a blink now and the sheep on Hani. This is the time for them to get easy picks. Looks like Admiral Bulldog will pop their smoke. He has a dust on Hani.
Yep, Bulldog.
They know.
Yep, they're pinging it out. And I doubt they're going to run away from a fight. Oh, this could be bad. This is so condensed.
They need Hani in front. Why is Era in front?
Oh, this could be so bad if they land an RP. This is not where they need to be fighting this fight. And they're going to try to run away. There's going to be a skewer back onto Trixie. Right into the cogs. Coil's there. Excuse me, not the coil, but Blade Mail's there. And there's the Poison Nova. Trixie next to die. They're going to mech through that damage. Loda gets a double kill. Look at the damage just being chunked away. That plus the pure damage of Impetus. Going to be enough to lock down the Naga Siren. It was actually the homing missile there. Or no, never mind. Thought I heard the homing missile connect on him. Instead was a little bit more right click from Ake. 19-7, and Alliance basically taking a victory lap right now. They'll shove out mid them dip. That's the word we're looking for into the Roche mid. All right, S4, quit playing around. You're going to spin the RP on accident. I've seen pro players do that.
It was a big mistake by Era there. You can't split up. Like, if you look at their smoke gank, it was like 2 people run over here, 2 people run over here, and they don't have a dust on Era. So he popped the smoke, but there's like, oh shit, where's the dust? And then Hani's way too far away because he's supposed to be leading you. Well, he was leading. It's just his teammates didn't follow him. You need to be able to sheep instantly as soon as you see someone with a smoke. And he had a dust too. We see a Song of Center initiate.
And they're going to engage on the Loda. Loda's going to be knocked out of the cogs, though. He's going to be scythed out. No Tail caught with the Gale. He'll be blown up. That's another track kill. Bulldog just utterly going to town at this point. And here comes S4. RP going to catch 3 as they tried to engage with the Queen of Pain. Blink past her team, though. And Fnatic's progress of trying to shove them out totally halted by S4 with the RP. A little disappointing to land such a crisp 3-man RP and no follow-up. But in the end, I'm sure they'll be happy to take this Rax.
Also disappointing to hit a 4-man Song on a Siren and then the hook shot miss and the cog pushed him out too. Yeah. He had BKB down. That would have been a really big kill for them.
And Alliance taking down the melee Rax. Range Rax still stands at least for a little while. We're going to have the cogs go down from Trixie. And here comes Loda, going to BKB as it's back. Oh, look at him just chunking away here. Black Cannon so good. And this will be the ranged Rax down as well. Alliance tripling up Fnatic in kills. GG, well played comes out. So a fantastic series ends in 25 minutes. Alliance up against a similar lineup that Fnatic used to beat them in Game 2. This time they had their number. They take the win 2-1.
They're so good at adapting to the opponent's playstyle, though. Just like one hero switching up, just a Weaver out for the gyrocopter, and makes a world of difference. They pretty much just ran like very similar strategy. The Mag, I mean, his RPs were important, but it wasn't like the game-breaking thing. It was mainly just Loda just balling out of control. Their triple lane actually winning instead of the second game where it just got wrecked.
Taking a look at the way the final stats shake out, No Tail struggling mightily throughout this whole game. 0-7 for him. Fly never got his legs underneath him either. 0-3 on level 8 Windrunner. Quap, played by Hani, certainly not able to repeat the success he had in Game 2 on Blinks. He finished 4-2. On the side of the winners, though, Loda with a standout game, 8-0-6, finishes with 791 GPM, 613 XP per minute. And a good performance out of Bulldog as well. He was very quiet early on, but finishes up 6-1-4, getting the job done, and had to have had a dozen track kills at least. And that's pretty significant in a 25-minute game. It took him 25 minutes, 36 seconds to end this series. 21-7, final kill score. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of the broadcast. And of course, Merlini, thanks to you. Your insight is not only welcome, but very much enjoyed by our viewers and certainly by myself as well. Why don't you go ahead and drop the deets as to where they can find you, and we can go ahead and get our Twitter addresses. Come on. Come on. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Come on. Catching lip from the producer. Sesh has got something to say about it. Anyway, Merlini, as you can see, he is, am I going to get it right? Yes, I always get it backwards. Merlini on this side. Go ahead and tell them where else they can find you.
Thank you very much, ASC, for casting. It's a pleasure as always. You can follow me on Twitter at Merlini Dota, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all the same, /Merlini Dota.
There you go. Make sure you check out, especially all of you guys who are kind of getting into Dota, want to learn to think like a pro, play like a pro. Merlini has some of the best educational content you can find anywhere on the web or in the world. You can find me on Twitter as well. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ACTV, with links to all of my other media, YouTube, Facebook, all that. It's all ACTV. Once again, thanks to you guys for being a part of the broadcast. Looking ahead, we've got nothing but Western Dota on the way. Actually, that's a lie. We've got Eastern Dota coming up on Sunday and Monday of next weekend to round out and finish up our Eastern schedule. But from now until roughly a week before Thanksgiving, 7 days a week, at least 2 best of 3s a day, tearing through this Western broadcast schedule here on the HyperX D2L. This has been a D2L production in conjunction with Kingston HyperX, Razor, Astro, and Monster Energy. And our schedule, of course, sticking right with it. 9 a.m. tomorrow. Make sure you're planted in whatever seat you like to sit in while you watch it. I seem like a But, yeah, we'll see you back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. That'll make it 6 p.m. for our Central European brothers and sisters. And in Asia, that'll make it like 12 midnight, something like that. Either way, we'll see you then. Until then, take care, enjoy your day, and enjoy some Dota.